come into existence by chance? The answer is no. Before a poet composing a poem, he will have imagination and concept in his mind, then only he can write the poem. Similarly, a novelist will have plot and characters in his mind. Only then he can start writing the novel. Even for some meaningful words to come into existence, there should be deliberate planning and action. Then how can such complex information contained in the DNA come into existence by chance? So once man recognizes the reality and fact that we have been created by Almighty God, then it is easy to him to recognize the other reality, that the very same God can again resurrect us. That is what we should understand. We are now living in an age of cloning, wherein it is possible for scientists to clone carbon copies of living beings. But cloning does not mean creating life. When a carpenter makes a chair, we say the carpenter made a chair, not the carpenter created a chair. Why? Because the wood with which the chair was made is created by God. Similarly, a scientist collects the nucleus from a cell, male cell. Then they take an ovum from a female and removes the nucleus. The nucleus taken from the male cell is artificially fused into the female ovum and a zygote is made. Only if a scientist creates something from out of nothing, the scientist can claim that he created anything. Here the nucleus, the ovum, and the womb are created by Allah. Now the scientists claim that in future, it may be possible to clone exact replica of an individual if a cell, even from the hair of the dead man, is available. But the individual so produced will not be same. He may look similar, but his physical, mental and spiritual attributes will be different. But why I stated this thing before you is to convince you the fact, if it is possible for man to clone an individual who had died centuries ago, if man can get a cell even from the hair of the dead man, then Almighty Creator, who created all of us, for him it will be very easy. So we have to accept the fact that Allah will resurrect us after we have turned to dust in our graves. So we have to have faith and do a lot of good deeds and refrain from committing sins. I'm not elaborating those aspects because inshallah you'll be getting a lot of opportunities to hear about that. But there are people who ask many questions. How can Allah see the things secretly done by us? How can He hear the words spoken by us? How can He convince us the deeds done by us in this world and prove our guilt? In fact, there are ample evidence around us which will prove beyond doubt that the warnings of Allah are fact and not fiction. I'll illustrate this through some examples. Once a thief stole a gold chain, and when he was about to be caught, in order to destroy the evidence, he swallowed it. But the X-ray of his stomach revealed the presence of the chain, and he was punished. We are aware of the fact about the scanning machines at airport that reveals the drug and explosives carried by passengers. How can the modern man who is aware of these things ridicule chapter 31 verse 16 of the Noble Quran? Ya bunayya innaha intaku mithqala habbatin min hardalin fatakun fi sahrati aw fi samawati aw fil ardi yahti bi Allah. O my son, let it be the weight of a mustard seed and be hidden inside a rock or anywhere inside the earth or sky, Allah will bring it forth. How can the modern man who is aware of secret agents and police, recording the conversations made by people through telephone and copying their emails, ridicule Allah's claim that He hears everything? How can the modern man, who with a touch of button on his computer gets all information through internet, ridicule Allah's claim that He knows everything? How can the modern man, who store innumerable data and countless documents in tiny pen drives and chips, question Allah's claim that angels are recording all our deeds? Earlier, these people used to mock and ask, all the papers produced by man will not be enough to record and preserve the deeds committed by man. How can the modern man, who can deny the warning of Allah, that Allah sees every word spoken by us, every deed committed by us? We are aware of satellites stationed at space far away from Earth, and the remote control camera attached to that satellite takes pictures and sends the images to Earth, and we see it. Let us imagine that a satellite is stationed at space, millions of miles away from Earth, and the remote control camera attached to that satellite is turned towards a planet, that too millions of miles away from Earth as well as from that satellite. Let us also imagine that there are some living beings in that planet. One day, one among them kills another, and its impression was that none has seen it. But the remote control camera attached to that satellite records that event and sends the same to Earth, and is watched by men who are millions of miles away from that planet as well as from that satellite. If this is possible for man, then for Almighty Allah, who had created everything, it will be very easy. We are aware of various internet sites like Google Earth site, etc., where we can see every nook and corner of Earth and even locate our own houses. And even the cameras attached to that satellites can, in future, penetrate concrete barriers and take pictures inside the building. If this is possible for man, then it will be easy for Allah to see every deed committed by us. In modern cities, cameras are placed at traffic junctions, and the drivers who jump the traffic signals, when charged by the police if they deny the said violation, the police used to play the video recording in front of them and convince them about the violation, and they are fined. We know about many incidents where a thief who stole a gold chain during a wedding ceremony being caught when the video recording of the wedding ceremony was played. Recently, a Quran reading pen is available. We will get a Quran and a pen along with that. And if we touch the tip of the pen in any particular verse of the Quran, the pen not only reads the words, but also tells us its translation. How can the modern man, who is aware of all these developments, ridicule Allah's claim that on the judgment day, your eyes, your hands, your legs, your skin, and every limb will stand as witness in respect of the deeds you had committed in this world? So take these warnings of Allah very seriously. The Quran says in chapter 6, verse 27, وَلَوْ تَرَى إِذْ وُقِفُوا عَلَى النَّارِ فَقَالُوا يَا لَيْتَنَا نُرَدُّ وَلَا نُكَذِّبَ بِآيَاتِ رَبِّنَا وَنَكُونَ مِنَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. If you have seen, when they are confronted with the hellfire, they will say, if we were sent back, we would not have denied the signs of Lord, and we would be among the believers. Friends, we will never get a chance to come back and rectify our mistakes. I'll conclude by narrating an incident that happened during the time